Today's topic is about similar figures. And similar figures is, it's a really simple concept. It just means that there's two of the same shape, that one's bigger, one's smaller, and they're both proportionate in size, and the ratio is proportionate, which means that each side is a certain times bigger than the other side, and it's equal. So basically what they want you to do is try to find the missing side of a figure. So for example, if we take this first example, and we'd have two triangles, right? And one's bigger and one's smaller, okay? And it's supposed to be the same triangle. And if we do that, and let's say this side is 12, and this side is 20, and this side is 3, what's that side there, okay? And so your job is to figure out what x is. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. The main way you can do this to figure out in any type of similar figure situation is make it into a proportion, okay? So if you were to make this into a proportion, you could just use the shapes you have and keep it, and make fractions out of them, put them equal to each other. So for example, for this one you have 12 and 20, so you can do 12 over 20, all right, and that equals, 3 over x. So basically you keep it where they are. If this is on top, bottom, you just keep it the way it is. And then you can just solve by just cross multiplying and dividing. Right? So 12 times x, that is 12x. And then that equals 20 times 3, which is 60. I got that from 60. And then you divide by 12 on each side, and x equals 5. Okay. And that's what that side equals, okay? So that's the main kind of base way you solve for any similar figures, is just make it into proportions, cross multiply, and divide, and then you have your answer. The other way you can think about it, and is even simpler, is you look at the two sides that you have that correspond. So in this case, the 12 and the 3, right? Each triangle has this left side here, this left diagonal, that's given numbers, okay? So what you want to do is you want to divide this number, your bigger number, divide by your smaller number, okay? So if we did that, if we did 12 divided by 3, we know that equals 4, right? Okay. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, which means that this triangle is 4 times as big as this triangle, which means that each side is 4 times as big as this side, okay? So if 12 divided by 4 is 3, we can divide this by 4 to get this number here. So if we did that, we can do 20 divided by 4, and we know that equals 5. And that's what our x is, okay? So it's very simple in that way too. 12 divided by 3, 4. Okay, so it's 4 times as big. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay, and conversely, vice versa, 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, so there's a 4 times difference in this one right here. Okay, that's what the other is to it. It's really not, it's not as complicated. It's really simple concept to get. Okay, let's try something else. Let's do a different shape. Let's do and then all right, hold on. Let's try that again. Okay. So a smaller one and a bigger one, right? Of these polygons, right? So let's give this side 10. Let's do 14, and 3. And this side is going to be 40, 56, and x. And our job is to find out what this x is, okay? So you have a lot of different sides here, okay? So basically, once again, if you want to do it the base way and cross multiply, you can do that. You can take any two sides that correspond, okay? So if you want, you can do 10 and 40. You can do 15, 14, 56 on here, or 14, 56 here. So right, it's that side, and that side, okay? They all correspond. So you could do any one of those ones and put them over each other, okay? So basically, if we were cross multiplying, okay, then you could do this. You could do, you can take this n side here, okay, and 10, and put it over the side we need, right? We need this side here, right? So this corresponds to the 3. So put it over the 3, and that equals the 10 is the same size as the 40, and that's over x, okay? And then once again, same thing. We can just take, we can cross multiply 10 times x is 10x, 3 times 40 is 120, and then we divide by 10, and x equals 12, okay? And that's our answer, is 12, okay? Then let's do it in cross multiply. Now the other way to do it, remember, is just to go ahead and divide, okay? Now you can divide remember, dividing your bigger number by your small number. So we take our bigger one is over here, right? So we can take any of these ones, 56 divided by 14 or 40 divided by 10. Doesn't matter which one, okay? Obviously, the easier one that you would probably know is 40 divided by 10, which equals 4, okay? So 40 divided by 10 is 4. That means that this side is 4 times as big as this side, okay? So conversely, 10 times 4 is 40. Okay, let me put this 4 in the middle here, okay? So 10 times 4 is 40. 40 times 4 is 56. That means 3 times 4 is 12, okay? So it's 4 times as big, okay? So it really is that simple. You can get a lot of these just by looking at it, honestly, okay? And that's really all there is to it. There's really not much more. Now let's do a word problem together, and I'll pick number 1 of our assignment here, okay? So if you look at number 1, it says a 6-foot tall tent standing next to a cardboard box casts a 9-foot shadow. If the cardboard box casts a shadow that's 6 feet long, then how tall is it? Okay, so for all these ones here, any of these word problems with similar figures, the easiest thing you want to do is draw a picture. It doesn't have to be a complicated picture. It can be an easy picture, a simple one, okay? So we know, so draw what you know, okay? We know this tent is 6 feet tall. So our tent, tall, is 6 feet, okay? Now it's next to a cardboard box, okay? Now, this tent casts a shadow that's 9 feet tall. Well, we know shadows are on the ground. So our shadow here is 9 feet, okay? So that's our tent. It's a very simple tent, okay? We don't need to make it complicated. Just make it simple. 6 feet tall, casts a 9-foot shadow, okay? Then it says if the cardboard box casts a shadow that's 6 feet long, how tall is it? So if we draw the same kind of figure, right? This little L, right? The shadow of the box is 6 feet long. So that's remember, shadows are on the bottom. How tall is it? That's what we're trying to figure out there, is how tall it is, okay? So that's now set up. Now we just go ahead and solve it. Now here, the two numbers you're given are 9 and 6, okay? So if you divide those, you're gonna get a decimal. So if you don't wanna work with decimals, then this would be the idea to go ahead and set it as a proportion, cross multiply. Set up just how I set up, 6 over 9 equals x over 6, okay? And then you can just cross multiply and solve, okay? So 9 times x is 9x, 6 times 6 is 36, and then divide by 9, and x equals 4. And there you go. Okay? And it really is just that simple, okay? So even with the word problems, don't freak out. It's just, we can do another one just to kind of make sure you get it, but it really is that simple, okay? Let's do another one. Let's do number 2. So actually, let's do right here. So it says, find the distance between Riverside and Milton if they are 12 centimeters apart on a map with a scale of 4 centimeters to 21 kilometers, okay? So here, once again, we can, if you want to draw a picture, you can. This one's kind of set up where it gives you an actual ratio right here of 4 centimeters to 21 kilometers, okay? So what do we know? First, look at what you have. You have centimeters here and kilometers. So we're working with centimeters and kilometers, okay? So when you figure out what the first thing you do when you're doing word problems is you figure out what is the question asking you. What does it want you to do? What does it want you to find? Well, this one wants you to find the distance between Riverside and Milton, so the actual distance of these two places. So we know it's not centimeters. We know we want kilometers, okay? So if we set this up as a proportion, we can use our two numbers are together already. 4 centimeters to 21 kilometers, okay? So 4 centimeters to 21 kilometers, okay? Then we put that equal to. Now look, our 12, okay? We ask, is it centimeters or kilometers? Centimeters. Our 4s are centimeters. Our 4s are centimeters, which means the 4 is on top, which means our 12 also goes on top, and our kilometers we're trying to find goes on the bottom, okay? Now we can go ahead and just go ahead and cross multiply. So if we cross multiply, okay, do 4 times x, 4x, and that equals 21 times 12. If you want to put in the calculator, 21 times 12, that's fine. That equals 252. And then we're going to go ahead and divide each side by 4. And 252 divided by 4 equals 63. Okay, so it's that simple. It's nothing complicated. You know, you can use proportions, or you can divide and figure it out that way. Okay, it really is that simple.